Listen to me, not everyone you love is meant to stay. And I know that sentence hurts like a punch straight to the heart, but sometimes the people you thought were your forever were only meant to be your lesson. If you're listening right now with a heart that feels heavy, a chest that's tight, and a mind that can't stop replaying memories, then this message is for you. There's a moment in every heartbreak where silence becomes louder than the words you never got to say. You sit with unanswered questions, unfinished conversations, and a love that had all the potential in the world, but none of the reality. And suddenly you realize you're holding on to someone who stopped holding on to you. As I want you to breathe, because I know what it feels like to cling to something that's slipping through your fingers. We convince ourselves that love should be enough, but love without respect is pain. Love without reciprocity is emptiness. Love without effort is exhaustion. You can pour every drop of your heart into someone, and still, they may never stay, not because you weren't enough, not because your love lacked depth, but because their part in your story was never meant to be permanent. Letting go doesn't mean you failed. It means you finally realized you deserve something that doesn't break you. You deserve someone who stays, not someone who visits your heart when it's convenient. And tonight, we're going to talk about the courage to release what's hurting you. Even when it's the thing you wanted most, there's a strange kind of pain that comes from holding onto someone who's already gone. Your heart knows the truth long before your mind is willing to accept it. You replay every moment, every conversation, every promise. You dissect the memories like a crime scene, searching for the exact moment things changed. Was it something you said, something you didn't do, something you weren't enough of? That's what heartbreak does. It turns you against yourself. You start apologizing for things you never did. You shrink your personality, soften your needs, silence your voice just to keep someone who has already emotionally checked out. You feel their presence fading, but you keep pretending not to notice because acknowledging it would mean confronting your fear of being alone. Holding on becomes a habit. You get addicted, not to the person, but to the hope of who they could be. You keep fighting for a version of them that only exists in your imagination. And the cruel part, they don't even have to hurt you anymore. You do it to yourself. Every time you send the message they ignore, every time you wait for a call that never comes, every time you forgive something that shattered you. And I'm not here to blame you. I'm here to tell you the truth. Love makes us blind, but pain eventually makes us see. When the person you love stops choosing you, it is not your job to keep proving yourself worthy. You were worthy the entire time. They just didn't have the capacity to appreciate the magnitude of you. Sometimes the bravest thing you will ever do is stop waiting. There comes a moment when love stops feeling like love and starts feeling like survival. You stop growing. You stop smiling. You stop recognizing the person in the mirror. And yet you stay not because it's healthy, not because it's right, but because walking away feels like tearing out a part of your soul. We romanticize endurance. We tell ourselves that real love means holding on no matter how heavy it becomes. But love is not supposed to feel like begging. It's not supposed to feel like you're trying to earn a place in someone's life. Love should be soft, not painful. It should fill you, not empty you. But when someone you care about begins to pull away, you start shrinking yourself to close the distance. You laugh quieter. You need less. You pretend you're okay with the bare minimum just to keep them from leaving. You trade your peace for the fear of losing them, forgetting that anything that requires you to betray yourself isn't love, it's self-abandonment. Here's the truth that hurts. Some people don't break your heart maliciously. They break it slowly by not choosing you, by not showing up, by loving you only when it's easy. They don't leave loudly. They leave quietly through silence, inconsistency, and absence. And deep inside, you feel it even before they say a word. Your body knows, your intuition knows, your heart knows. And the saddest part is sometimes they were never really yours. You only fell in love with their potential. With the version you hope they would grow into, and potential can be beautiful, but it can also be dangerous. It keeps you waiting for a future that never arrives. Letting go isn't about stopping love. It's about choosing your peace over their uncertainty. You can still love them and still walk away. Let's talk about the part no one wants to admit. Sometimes you don't stay because of love. You stay because you're afraid of being alone. Loneliness is powerful. It whispers lies in your ear. No one will love you like they did. You won't find someone else. You're too damaged, too difficult, too much. And when you're exhausted, Those lies start sounding like truth. So instead of letting go, you settle. You accept half love, half effort, half time. You convince yourself that crumbs are a feast. You'd rather have a broken heart with someone than an empty room without them. But here's the painful reality. You can be lonely in a relationship. You can sleep next to someone every night and still feel invisible. Being alone isn't the enemy. Being forgotten in someone's presence is. You weren't created to be someone's backup plan, their temporary comfort, or their emotional safety net. You deserve someone who chooses you fully on hard days, on boring days, on ordinary days. Someone who doesn't make you prove your worth, but sees it without question. And yes, walking away is terrifying. Yes, you will miss them. Yes, the nights will be heavy and the silence will be loud. But you know what's louder? Staying in a place where your heart is starving. Staying with someone whose love has an expiration date. You don't need someone to complete you. You need someone who respects the fact that you are already whole. Some endings are not punishments. They're corrections. They're redirection. They're protection. You are not losing them. You are finding yourself, there's a moment, quiet, subtle, almost invisible, when something inside you shifts. It doesn't happen with fireworks or screaming arguments. It happens in silence. You wake up one day and realize you're tired of overthinking, tired of begging for effort, tired of breaking yourself into smaller pieces just to fit into someone else's life. You stop checking your phone every minute. You stop writing messages you never sent. You stop creating excuses for their absence. You simply stop. It's not because you no longer care. It's because you've exhausted every part of your heart trying to hold together what someone else keeps letting fall apart. The pain doesn't disappear, but you start to see it clearly. You start to understand that love should not require you to burn yourself to keep someone warm. And slowly, you begin to reclaim your power. You take back the space you gave away. You take back the energy you poured into someone who didn't honor it. You take back the parts of yourself you abandoned just to feel wanted. This is the awakening, the realization that you deserve more than a love that leaves you questioning your worth. You deserve someone who stays, not someone who runs every time it gets difficult. You deserve someone who is sure about you. And the most beautiful part, you don't have to hate them to let them go. You don't need revenge. You don't need closure. You don't need answers. You just need courage. Courage to accept what your heart already knows. Courage to choose yourself even when it hurts. Courage to walk away even with tears in your eyes. Here's a truth most people don't want to face. You can love someone deeply and still be destroyed by them. Love is powerful, but it is not always healthy. It is not always safe. It is not always enough. Sometimes the person who makes your heart race is the same person who makes your spirit collapse. They apologize just enough to keep you hopeful, change just little enough to keep you hurting. They give you love in pieces, tiny doses, just enough to keep you from walking away. They know exactly when to show up, exactly when to say the right words, exactly when to make you believe things will be different. But they don't stay consistent. They don't stay present, and they don't stay accountable. And you call that love because you feel it so intensely. But intensity is not love. Anxiety is not love. Uncertainty is not love. If someone's presence brings chaos instead of peace, if their patterns hurt more than their promises heal, then it's not love that's keeping you there. It's attachment, fear, and hope tangled together. You don't need to hate them to walk away. You don't have to label them a villain. Sometimes two good people are just wrong for each other. Sometimes someone's love is real, but still not enough to sustain you. And sometimes people simply don't know how to love you in the way you need to be loved. You can love them and still leave. You can care about them and still choose yourself. You can forgive them and still close the door. Letting go is not betrayal. It is self-respect, because love is not measured by how much pain you can carry. Love is measured by how safe, seen, and valued you feel. And if someone cannot give you that, then their place in your life is not permanent. You won't feel strong at first. You'll feel broken, fragile, empty. People will tell you you're better off, but your heart won't believe it yet. Healing never feels like strength in the beginning. It feels like loss. But here's what you don't see. Yet every day you choose not to go back. You're rebuilding yourself. Every time you resist the urge to text them, you're rewriting your story. Every morning you wake up without them and still choose to breathe, still choose to move, still choose to heal. You are becoming stronger. Strength is quiet. It shows up in small ways, in the moments you cry, but keep going. In the nights you feel lonely, but don't run back. In the days you choose peace over chaos, in the decision to protect yourself, even when your heart wants to surrender, you are not weak for missing them. You are not weak for loving them. You are not weak for wanting to stay. Your strength lies in the fact that you didn't. One day, you'll look at yourself and realize that the version of you who couldn't imagine life without them survived. You won't remember the exact day you stopped hurting. Healing doesn't announce itself, but slowly the pain softens, the memories stop cutting, the love stops drowning you. And one morning, you wake up with a quieter heart, a lighter chest, a calmer mind. You realize you didn't lose them. You release them, and release is a form of love too, love for yourself. You may not feel strong today, but you are becoming the strongest version of yourself you've ever been, not by holding on, but by letting go. When someone leaves, all you can see at first is what you lost. Their voice, their comfort, their presence, their habits, the little routines your heart grew attached to. Loss makes you blind to everything else. But as time moves, something quieter begins to show up the things you gained. You gain space to hear your own thoughts again, space to grow without shrinking, space to feel peace where there used to be anxiety. You gain clarity. You start seeing the relationship for what it was, not what you needed it to be. You notice the red flags you ignored, the energy you drained, the love you overextended. And instead of blaming yourself, you start understanding yourself. You gain freedom from waiting for replies, freedom from overthinking every silence, freedom from questioning your worth every time they pulled away. You gain Wyu again, the version that laughed without fear, the version that didn't apologize for existing, the version that didn't wake up with heaviness in her chest. Letting go doesn't just remove someone from your life, it returns you to yourself. And when you begin to rebuild, you learn things you never noticed. You're more resilient than you thought. You're more valuable than they ever treated you. You are capable of loving deeply. And that is not a weakness. It is a strength. The loss teaches you boundaries. The heartbreak teaches you self-worth. The ending teaches you who you are. You didn't just lose someone. You gained a wiser, stronger, softer, braver version of yourself. And one day you'll look back and realize the door that closed was the beginning of your healing. By now, you've begun to feel it, the quiet relief that comes with choosing yourself. It isn't loud. It isn't flashy. It doesn't make headlines, but it settles in your bones and tells you, I am enough, I am worthy, I am whole. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you stop caring about them. It doesn't mean you erase the memories or the love you once felt. It means you stop letting someone else define your happiness. You stop measuring your worth based on their presence or absence. You stop bending into shapes that fit their comfort and start standing tall in your own truth. And yes, the first few steps are heavy. They feel like leaving a part of your heart behind. But here's the thing, every step forward is proof of your courage. Every decision to honor yourself is a declaration. I will not trade my peace for someone's inconsistency. I will not diminish my value to make someone else comfortable. I will not let love make me small. Peace doesn't come from revenge. Peace doesn't come from anger or bitterness. Peace comes from understanding that life is too short to chase someone who isn't meant to stay. Peace comes from loving yourself enough to say, I deserve love that lifts me, not love that drains me. I deserve love that celebrates me, not love that ignores me. And the most powerful part, once you choose yourself, the world shifts. The air feels lighter. The nights aren't so heavy. You begin to attract what you've been seeking, not in desperation, but in alignment. Not because you're chasing someone else, but because you finally stopped running from yourself. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. It is revolutionary. And it will teach you more about love than any heartbreak ever could. You are no longer waiting for someone to show up. You are showing up for yourself, and that is the most beautiful love story you will ever live. Now, listen carefully. Not everyone you love is meant to stay. And that is not a failure. That is not a flaw. That is life teaching you, shaping you, and guiding you towards something greater. The person who walked away was never meant to be your permanent chapter, but you are meant to continue your story stronger, wiser, and more whole than ever before. Letting go is not the end of love. It is the beginning of self-respect. It is the declaration that your heart will no longer settle for less than it deserves. It is the realization that you are worthy of someone who chooses you wholeheartedly, someone who stays when life gets messy, someone who loves you not for convenience, but for all that you are. So let the tears fall if they need to. Let the nights be quiet and heavy. But do not let your grief imprison you. Breathe, stand, walk forward. With every step, you reclaim your life, your joy, your freedom. You are not broken. You are awakening. Remember this: you can love deeply, fiercely, and entirely, and still release what no longer serves your heart. You can carry the lessons without carrying the pain. You can honor the love without demanding its return. And most importantly, you can choose yourself above all else, knowing that the love you give to yourself will shape every beautiful chapter yet to come. Not everyone you love is meant to stay, but the love you give yourself will last forever.